All right, joined by Frank Trigg here. Frank, a bunch of stuff happened over the past weekend in combat sports. Obviously, we're still kind of getting over the hangover from the money fight, but it is what it is. There's a big boxing bout. Obviously, the UFC had an event, and John Jones continues to make news. We'll touch on John Jones at the end, but first things first. Luke Rockhold emerges victorious versus David Branch, then goes off and tells GSP to get out of that fight because that's his fight. I mean, what do you make of all this with Rockhold?
Well, I've been saying this since the very beginning. GSP coming back in at welterweight, he absolutely deserves a title shot. Like, he wants to come back in at welterweight. Yeah, 100% get a title shot. He's going back in at middleweight, a weight that he's never fought in. He's never been in that weight class at all, ever. He's moving up a weight class. And people that understand how sports work with weight, if you have to make a particular weight, when a person comes down from a heavier weight class, they get ranked higher because they were third or fourth at 185, and now when they come down to 170, they're gonna be ranked higher, probably second or third, depending, on how things go. When you move up a weight class, you tend to be unranked because you're moving up to bigger guys. They're obviously gonna be stronger because they're assuming that everything else is equal. The wrestling, the grappling, the boxing, everything is all equal. So the bigger guy is gonna have the advantage. That's just how the world works. It's GSP though, so he's a huge pay-per-view draw. He's a huge number guy. This is a big deal for the UFC to make some money. It's another gimmick fight, which is kind of what they're going for. They're going for the money fights right now. They're going for the gimmick fights. It's a gimmick fight. It's a fight that either guy can win very easily. Bisping can beat GSP. GSP can beat Bisping. It's a very good fight matchup-wise. But Rockhold's right. He's the next guy in line. And now they're holding up the weight class. But the good news is that we all heard, and we talked about this before, GSP has to defend. So he wins the belt. He's got to defend. So Rockhold will be next in line.
Whitaker.
Or it's Whitaker's going to be next in line. And that's the thing, though, because it doesn't matter what the rankings are. It doesn't matter what Dana says. It's all BS. Because at the end of the day, they're going to put the fight that comes together that makes the most amount of sense for them to make money. So if Rockhold starts from the end of his fight talking about, get out of my way, GSP, you're in my fight, and keeps talking noise all the way until it's time to fight either Bisping or GSP, then he's going to be the bigger fight, whether Whitaker is there or not, because Whitaker's not a trash talker. Rockhold is learning, I got to trash talk. And all you other fighters out there better start listening right now. You want to get yourselves put on top? Kevin Lee has talked his way into being one of the best guys in the weight class right now. How? Because he talked about it, he picked on you, he yelled at you, he poked you in the eye, talked about your mother, and then he beat you up. And you're like, well, you got to listen to that guy. If he does it very quietly, he does it very, very under the radar, just like, oh, shucks, man, I'm just here to do a good job and put on a good fight, and hopefully everyone's entertained and goes out there and wins, no one's going to care, right? So Rockhold is in the path to go, he's going to overstep and be the next one in line. But I agree with him. I think GSP shouldn't be in there. I think he should have to fight a couple times before he gets in there. Especially, didn't he announce he was coming back in January? We had to wait 10 months for this thing? That doesn't make any sense. That's kind of crazy. But who am I? I'm just a fan. I don't know anything.
Got your point there. In terms of crazy, Triple G and Canelo went down on Saturday. A lot of talk about one judge's scorecard, Ellie Bird's scorecard. I think it was 118 to 110. Give me your thoughts on the fight itself, and then when you heard the judges' scorecards and the fact that it was a draw or split draw.
So at about the 7th or 8th round, and this is, understand, I also know the judges. So I know how the judges judge. Like, that's one of the things as a fighter that you really have to watch out for. Who are my refs? Who are my judges? I got to know. Because if it goes to decision, there is a shot that you can get screwed if you have the wrong set of judges. With your reffing, you also have to know, is this guy going to stand me up quick? Is he going to push me apart? Is he going to separate us? You got to find all this stuff out. So you have to know it when you go in as a fighter. So I know all the judges, especially living in Nevada for as long as I did. I knew all the judges that were there. When we got to about after the 8th round, at the end of the 8th round, I told everybody in the room that I was at, I go, it's going to be a draw. Oh, no, shut up. Triple G's killing him. It's amazing. Oh, my God. And I wanted Canelo. And I had Triple G winning by 3 rounds at the end of the fight. I had 3 rounds clear. Now, mind you, I'm drinking scotch. I'm talking. I'm not paying attention to the entire fight. So my 3 rounds of Triple G being up, with not paying attention that hard, going, oh, yeah, 100%, he's up by 3 rounds, tells you something. When I knew it was going to be a draw after the 8th round, and I tell everybody it's going to be a draw after the 8th round, and I still had Triple G winning, but I knew it was going to go to a draw. I just knew it was. Because boxing is, and I think maybe I'm wrong. So I try to judge boxing the same way I judge MMA. And I think that I have it incorrect. Because I'm always wrong. I'm always wrong. Either that or the judges are so bad that Nevada has to get rid of all their judges and start all over again because it makes no sense to me. But Adelaide Bird has been sat down once before. There was the Mir Khan fight. She had Mir Khan winning the entire fight until he got knocked out, and he was clearly not winning. So I'm not sure. And mind you, give her the benefit of the doubt. The judges are in three different positions throughout the ring. I can only judge what I see from this angle. The other judge judges what they see from that angle. The other judge judges what they see from that angle. So we're in different angles. We're seeing different things. We don't always see, how things connect. We can't always score things the same way, but you're usually pretty close. This was astronomically wrong. I figured the other judge had it. Obviously, one had a draw, 114-114. I figured the other judge had it. For Triple G, it was like Adelaide had 8 rounds for Triple G out of the 12, and the other guy had like 7 or 8 or 9 rounds for Triple G. So you have one ref that looks for Canelo 8 rounds, and one that looks for Triple G 8 rounds. Well, that's a 16-round swing. How is that even possible? It doesn't make any sense. So something's going down. I heard a rumor, or somebody told me that they saw that Nevada has sat Adelaide down again. But what does that mean? You should go back and get education. You should go back and take classes. You should have to go take some boxing judging class again before she can come back in and get put on another title fight. Like, what's going to happen? And what's going to happen? And honestly, it kind of makes Nevada look a little bit bad, because now every other boxer wants to come in town is like, we might save money because there's no tax rate, because you don't have personal income tax in Nevada. So they're gonna be like, yeah, it's great to go to Nevada because I'm gonna save a lot of money on my taxes, but I have a shot at getting screwed by the judges. I might as well go to California. It's safer for me to be in California. And I kind of feel like the rematch that they're gonna have is gonna be in California. I really do. And I believe it's gonna be sometime. Like, my guess, I would not be surprised if they're like, look, Cinco de Mayo. We fought on Mexican Independence Day for Canelo. We're now going to fight on Cinco de Mayo for Canelo. And Triple G doesn't care. He doesn't care when the fight is, where the fight is. He just wants to fight. And I think the fight's going to be a lot closer this next time around. If they do get to a rematch, if it does happen, no matter when it happens, I think it's going to be a much closer fight. I think Canelo is young enough to learn from his mistakes in that fight and knows that, hey, I got to stay off the ropes more and I got to push forward. That fight, no matter what happened, the end result was an amazing fight. It was an incredible fight to watch. And I really wish I was there in the arena in T-Mobile to watch it, because the energy in the house I was watching it at was incredible. And that was just, 15 dudes hanging together with a couple girls sprinkled in there for good measurement. Imagine being in an arena with 19,000 people. That's incredible. That's going to be – that fight was amazing. I can't say enough good things about that fight. That fight was the fight of the year for boxing, absolutely the fight of the year. And it's going to be – and we won't see another fight like that for 10 or 15 years unless those two rematch.
Well, we saw a fight of the year candidate, which was a rematch between Daniel Cormier and John Jones, and then the big news comes out with John Jones allegedly testing positive. The B sample was tested; it was then tested. Same result. So John Jones finds himself in a whole heap of trouble right now. What do you make of this whole situation? And is that it for John Jones? I mean, will he, if he gets the maximum suspension of 4 years, will he come back, or is he going to fade away? I mean, look in your crystal ball. What do you see happening with this whole John Jones scenario?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's allegedly anymore, right? He's failed both A and B. He's failed. His samples came back hot. He's failed 2 samples. Whether he's guilty or not is the question. That's the question. Is it a tainted supplement? Is it, whatever? But from my understanding of the drug that he was on, it's so expensive. It only comes oral. It's not injectable. It's only oral. It's so expensive to put inside of a supplement. It makes no sense to have it in a supplement, to make a tainted supplement, because it would increase the price if you're selling by 3 or 4 times. So it makes no sense to have it in there. The only other thing you can come out to is like somebody's trying to get him. So somebody's trying to screw him. But who in his camp is trying to, they said before when he was past all the other tests that he clearly passed, that he has been under complete control. They're watching everything he puts in his body. They're checking everything. They're double checking everything. They're getting it sent out for sampling and all that other stuff. And all of a sudden now he gets popped again. So at Jackson Winklejohn, where John trains, to my knowledge, he's the only athlete that they've had down there that has failed 3 times, 3 consecutive times. So one time he was using the nutritious, the strength conditioning from Winklejohn and Jackson. Then one time he wasn't. I don't know what happened this last time, if he was or wasn't. But how can this guy get a tainted supplement? It's always somebody else's fault. Every time he gets caught on something, it's somebody else's fault. And that drives me nuts about a champ that's as good as John Jones is, that can run the gamut the way that he does. He's always blaming somebody else for when there's a problem. Well, how is this somebody else's fault? You're a damn adult. Like you're a man now. Like this is not some 24-year-old guy that just won the title and the youngest champ ever. This is a guy that's 30 years old now. At what point can you stop? Do you have to go, look, it's all my fault? I pay for my coaches. I pay for my training partners. I pay for my nutritionist. I pay for my – so it's on you. You're the one that's paying for these people. You're the one that's under control of all this. Get your camp together. Get your shit together. 4 years for him, it's like GSP being off for 4 years. It's really not that big of a deal, right? GSP only fought one time a year anyway, so he only missed 4 fights. Most guys missed 8 fights. Some guys missed 12 fights if they're not fighting for in a 4-year window. GSP only lost 4. He's not going to be that much bad, that much more off his game as he would be anyway. With John Jones, he could come back in 4 years, but the same thing's going to happen in GSP. The same thing that's going to happen in GSP when he fights Bisping will happen for John Jones. The game has changed. The people have changed. The game has grown. It's a different ballgame. If you stay trained the entire 4 years and never fade away from the gym and knowing that you'll make this huge comeback, you're still going to be behind. It's because ring time counts. Being in that live event counts. It always counts. Not saying that he's not going to win the championship again. Not saying he's going to lose his fights. What I'm saying is he's going to be a different man. It's going to be a different sport. So it's going to be interesting to see if that does happen. And I do believe that John's going to get the 4-year suspension. I think that's what's going to happen. Like, yeah, you're right. It was a tainted supplement. We told you the last time. You are in control of everything that goes in your system. You're up for 4 years. That's what you're getting. You're getting 4 years. That's what's going to happen. Like, I mean, you got to, at some point, you've got to stop and go, somebody has to be held accountable. What athlete are we going to make everyone else, to show everybody else that we're really serious about this? We're not gonna pull back on it. Screw it, it's John Jones. I mean, that's just unfortunate. It's just the guy he's the guy that's next in line. So I feel bad for him, but I also think he's an idiot at the same time, I wish him well. I hope it comes out where they find the problem, they find it's a false test, they find all these other things. So we MMA as a whole can get clear of it, because MMA looks bad. Our best champ is on the way. I have him as the #1 pound-for-pound best champ in the world until he gets removed, and then Demetrius Johnson takes that space back over again. And that's just the way it is. John is just that much better. And unfortunately, Demetrius probably would have flip-flopped this last weekend, but Ray Borg pulled out for whatever reason he pulled out for. So that screwed up DJ. Now we got to wait on John to find out what's happened with him. And this man, Joe, this thing could take a year before we get a final decision on it. Appeal this, appeal that. Oh, we have to push it one more time. We're not ready. John's sick. One of the commissioners is sick and can't show up for the meeting. Like, there's all sorts of crap going to go on. This thing's going to get pushed for a while.
I believe that. I like your analogy, though, of GSP and John Jones in terms of the game has changed. George St. Pierre has been gone for so long, but the game has changed, and that's likely what we'll see should John Jones decide to ever come back to mixed martial arts. We want to thank you very much for your time. What's next for you, my man?
Jeez, man, I'm out in LA right now. It's supposed to be a 4-day trip. I came out to ref an event down to Queen Mary in Long Beach, and I was supposed to go home on Sunday. Got a day on SWAT, 2 days on – what was I on? Geez, I can't remember. I'm working so much now. I was on SWAT, and then I was on I got SEAL team next week for a couple of days. So I ended up staying in LA for 2 weeks. It was only supposed to be a 4-day trip. So I got a bunch of stuff coming up. I think my episode of the Fear the Walking Dead comes out in a couple days. I'm all zombied up, and then I get stabbed in the head. It's pretty cool. I play a really bad zombie. It's awesome. It's really awesome. And then a couple of things are popping out. Just always in the hustle, always in the game, trying to figure out our next little travel plan. We got some stuff coming up. It looks like I'm going to Sarajevo end of October, beginning of November to go see my brother. And that's just going to be a great family trip where I'll be off the radar for 10, 14 days. So.
Hint, Joe. Hint, Joe. I won't be around. Well, hopefully we'll catch up with you before you go then. If not, we will catch up with you afterwards. Frank, as always, thank you very much for your time.
You got it, guys. Take care.